Kombonation.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Berserker Blitz.
That's not a good intro.
Oh,
Go again.
Alright, welcome to Kombonation, where we bring you the finest, the most excellent, delicious content you've ever have seen. I'm Berserker Blitz.
I'm Grown B.
Or Bink Baby.
Strike Freedom.
It's your turn.
Here's your strike.
X.
And so today we have a couple of topics that we want to bring to your dinner palate, your taste. Something that is personally favorite to me, which is music, and a lot of the things that are going on. I'm pretty sure you'll be excited. We're going to talk about our personal favorite songs, albums, our favorite movie titles and soundtracks that we also personally love, and just the influence of music in our lives as well. So I think it's going to be a pretty nice night. We'll find out. We'll go together on this road.
What we got first up?
Oh, well. Sorry, my bad. Edit. Alright. Back to it. You want to do a pause?
Why are we doing a pause?
Nah, I don't
For editing purposes.
Natural.
We don't need that.
Oh, this is natural?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I didn't get the foundation. Anyways.
Did you not watch the previous?
Yeah, I was, no.
I know then.
Oh,
There you go.
Alright, anyways. We're going to talk about a couple of the latest album releases that we've been listening to, soundtracks that we've enjoyed, and just putting those on your radar. Anybody want to start off? Well, oh no, I'll talk. Anyways, mine was probably going to be Tame Impala's latest album. That was a pretty good one to start. Had a couple samples that might be on the menu. You never know. But I just like Tame Impala in general. I like the sound of what it's going to, and it was a 14-album, so 14-track album.
14-album, that's
14
good.
album. I've never housed it.
You know what I like about Tame Impala? Because I had to do some research to figure this out.
Yeah.
So the person who sings, his name is Kevin Parker, right?
Yeah.
He plays all the music.
One guy, right?
He creates all of it, you know, wherever he may be, in his studio or whatever. He writes all the lyrics, he performs it all, records it, and then his entourage around him, that's Tame Impala. But Kevin Parker's like the one who produces everything. I just think that's fucking amazing.
That's so
Yeah,
hard.
that's really
That,
cool.
yeah, like so.
I've never heard anything like that.
So you actually put me really on, because I've heard Tame Impala's songs before just because of movies out and about or listening to it on the radio for sometimes or just popping up on my Spotify. But after hearing their album, I actually went back and listened to some other stuff, and then I heard a lot of the familiar songs that I heard before, and now you saying that's like really dope. And after you listen to the music, it sounds like something you just listen with your crew, with your entourage, and you're chilling, you guys are vibing, and that's exactly what it sounds like. So for you to say that, like, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like the music and the sound and the name and everything else about it all makes sense.
Yeah. So that one has definitely been in heavy rotation for me. Do you have a favorite track on there?
Man, probably that Bring It Back track.
That was good.
That was the one with the heavy bass line intro, but
I really like I said, that Instant Destiny song. I really just love that song.
Instant Destiny and Borderline.
Yeah, that was really good too.
Like,
I love Breathe Deeper, and then there's one that I slept on kind of because it kind of went over my head until I actually sat down and really listened to
was
it.
it Tomorrow's Dust? Posthumous Forgiveness?
Yeah. Bro,
yeah.
That story, what he's talking about, that shit was deep, bro.
Yeah.
He was talking about, like, basically in the story, he was saying how him and his brother lost his dad at probably a young age, and like how his dad didn't really get to see him grow up, and Kevin was pretty much saying, I wish you could be here right now, you know, because they had lost their mother too real early. So I mean, it was just the two brothers after the parents passed away, and it was just like you could tell there was some grievance in that song, and I don't know, man, the dude's just a genius whenever it comes to making music. So
it's a couple of good things from that one. Did you have anything on your mind?
Let's go to Mitchell first because mine kind of goes in a different direction.
Gotcha.
So right now we're really talking about something that we've been listening to a lot.
Yeah, just in like a new album that's come out, even if it's from 2019.
Well, actually, one that kind of I just found from like late 2019. I just went to the lake one day and I just put on my Spotify, and I just wanted to find something to kind of listen to just vibe out to when I'm at the lake. And I found this this rap artist named Novelist, and he does a lot of like lo-fi beat, like real, kind of like almost a soul type rap style to him. What he's talking about, he has like a lot of anime songs. He does a lot of stories in his songs and things like that. And like it's dope because most of his his images for like his fonts and stuff like Naruto, like things like anime related, and it's just like really good if you like lo-fi music and you like hip hop. It's like a really good mix because
great
remind me of that image so I can put it up.
Yeah, I will, because it was pretty good. I went through that time. I was at the lake for about an hour. I just went through like all of his albums, just listening to it, just walking around the lake, vibing out, because I was like, man, I was really just kind of wanting some lo-fi to listen to, and I just happened to put in lo-fi on Spotify, and he popped up. It's like, let's listen, and it was pretty good. So definitely that was something that kind of caught me by surprise. And he's an artist I would probably say look out for. He
one of those sleeper artists.
He lost his a few years ago, whenever he really started making his music, he lost his best friend. His best friend was murdered, and he dedicates a lot of his songs to him because his best friend was one of the people who kind of put him in music and kind of really supported him through it. So he talks about it in a few of his beats. He goes off one of the classic lo-fi beats I'm pretty sure everybody heard, and he kills it. So
very nice. For me, I don't even know if this is necessarily 2019, but like one thing that one kind of just collection of music in general that made a big impact on me that I just kind of want to speak about during this kind of part, because I've always been a big like Bruce Falconer fan of his, like just of everything he did with the Dragon Ball Z series. So I loved everything from him, and so whenever I would watch different dubs of Dragon Ball, I never liked the type of music that went along with their stuff. Like I was just never really feeling it. And so when I first started watching Dragon Ball Super, I thought that I was gonna feel the exact same way. But like pretty much the soundtrack of everything after the Goku Black arc, like I feel really, really, really passionate about. It's like one of those that I feel like if I was ever going to take like a group of like songs and music from Dragon Ball and from anime and put it up against and compare it to like some of the stuff like Bruce Falconer does, it would definitely be the music from that point. But I think like a lot of it just has to do with how well the production team placed certain music.
That's a big thing.
Like it's so powerful the way that they use music, and the I'd say like obviously the Tournament of Power has some good moments, but man, the score really drives that Goku Black arc. Like, it really drives that Goku Black arc, and everything that you hear along with the like the different special effects and stuff that not special effects, but sound effects that they put in really help encompass every individual character and the kind of the story that they're going through. So like one of my favorite ones, I don't think anyone really knows like Dragon Ball like score or music by name, but like if y'all wanted to look up a particular one, the heroic, I think it's called Heroic Battle. I think the composer, his name is Norihito Sumitomo.
Yeah.
That is my favorite song from Dragon Ball Super. It's really good. Like y'all will know exactly what it is. It's basically the first song. I think it's the first song that plays when they go to the future.
And Goku Black is there.
Yeah, Goku Black is there, and it closes out. It closes out on that song and goes to credit. It's so good.
That was so funny that you said that, because I was literally about to say, whenever you were bringing up the whole Goku Black arc, that first episode when Goku Black popped up, that music hit me, bro. It set the whole tone for that arc, bro. The whole tone.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely want to speak on that.
What was the name of that song?
It's called Heroic Battle.
So that pretty much talks about the albums that we've been listening to. Now we're going to move on to albums or songs that we're looking forward to for this year, the 2020 year. For me, I kind of have a couple artists, but for my two ones, my first one's Isaiah Rashad.
Okay.
He's been in the last 10
What are we
years.
talking about?
Albums that we're looking forward to this year.
Oh, okay.
So my first one's going to be Isaiah Rashad. Ever since Sun's Tirade came out, that was my favorite Top Dog Entertainment artist. And that album became my top dog, like my top album forever. So I'm excited that he's actually gonna have my album come out because he used to struggle with drug abuse and just seeing his kids, everything else that's going on. But he finally released it's like I'm gonna have an album this year. I was like, it's dope. The other one for me would probably be Gorillaz. They're actually making music again. Probably just 2 days ago when I was researching this topic, they released another song called De Soli from the Music Box album.
Are they gonna have De La Soul with them?
Of course.
Okay.
It's in one of the tracks too. So it's the way they took it. It sounds like the Gorillaz, but a really fresh sound to them.
What was that last album called?
Not Demon Days. It was the different one.
The one before that.
Are you talking about Humans?
Yeah.
Yeah, Humans. It just didn't.
It was weird.
It's like they tried it, but they didn't like where they was going with it.
Yeah. It was like they were just making that to. I don't know. It almost seemed like they made that for the labels.
Like a pop album, kind of like Lil Wayne when he released albums just to get out from underneath the label themselves.
Yeah.
But it seems like right now they're back in that creative process. Like they had an African artist with their first song, so it's like that's nice.
All right.
A little bit of French to it. I have to Google tracks. But anybody have anything new that they're looking forward to this year?
I definitely do.
What's up?
I'm gonna just put these two together because I mean they fucking deserve to. J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are supposed to drop something this year.
Yep.
Oh,
Do you think we're getting it?
Individually or together?
Individually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so like the next album from them.
But see, yeah, what me and Mitchell and I, we talked about this, about the possibility of them doing what they kind of did with that Black Friday stuff, like
Switch up the tracks.
well that or like J. Cole drops his album, Kendrick's on there. Kendrick drops his album, J. Cole's on there, and they're like, hey, surprise, we got this working for real this time after 8, 9.
Almost 8 years.
Almost, yeah.
It's been a while.
decade.
Remember they tried to have a collab album, but then it just doesn't work. Cause remember when they dropped Dreamville's album last year, or the year before last? They even had a Kendrick on one of those tracks.
Yeah, that was him.
Kendrick, they released an interview. J. Cole went on an interview with it. He was like, "We've been trying to get this in the works for years, but we have two different schedules."
Like, yeah, their schedules are completely different. They said that sometimes throughout the year their creative ideas were a little bit different, so them trying to actually do the album was very difficult.
Especially when you got J. Cole running a label now too.
Yeah.
But even then, people under his camp have been growing. Jid's got a new album
That's
on the
actually
way.
that's probably my most anticipated album right now for the year.
Jid,
Like,
I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk about that.
Jids is probably one because the Never Story. Whenever cause Shade put me on to Jid, whenever I just started listening to Dreamville and the Never Story, I had that on repeat for like a whole month. Like I could not stop listening to that album. And then whenever DiCaprio 2 came out,
boy, off the Zoikies.
Like that was my album. And I went back and listened to a lot of his old mixtapes.
Yeah.
Some of his old stuff just to kind of see how his sound had evolved from whenever he started. And I'm like, yeah,
it's
I'm
different.
really ready. Of course, I'm always waiting on the Tech Nine album because he releases an album every year.
Every year.
So, and that's my favorite
Greatest
rapper. So
independent
I'm
rapper
gonna always every year be waiting and anticipating when he drops next because he just dropped 9, and that was at the end of the year. So he drops. If he doesn't drop something, then an entire Strange Music collaboration will drop something. And since I'm a big fan of all the Strange Music, I'm happy either way because I'm just getting something from them. And it's that the Strange Music Collabs album is pretty much like that Dreamville, Revenge of the Dreamers. Like having something like that. I like hearing a lot of different artists that are from that same label all on songs together, or they each kind of have their own separate song but still on that album because then I can kind of see what I'm missing in other artists and go listen to them. And not just kind of stick to the main artists that I usually listen to from that group.
He did.
You did so many times.
What? Y'all know myself. Y'all know me.
I just thought you were gonna stop.
No, that Dreamville comment though, like that album put me on to Lou and Bass, and oh my gosh, I love me some Lou.
Boss.
Boss.
He looks like him and he sounds like him.
This is true. Shout out to
Steve.
Steve.
Huge.
Oh, Big Steve?
Yeah.
Steve.
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of TV shows coming out this year under Berlanti Productions, he does pretty much all the Arrowverse TV shows.
Yeah.
And so there's a composer that does all the music for them, and his name is Blake Neely. And so I assume they're going to continue to use him. And so like with all the different types of shows that they got come out, they got a Stargirl show coming out, a Green Lantern show, a Black Canary spinoff, a Superman show. I'm just really interested in seeing just what type of approaches he's going to take to some of the score that he does, because pretty much each character kind of has a theme. Different moments have certain themes. You know, of course, every show's gonna have their main theme. So I'm just really kind of interested in really how he's gonna approach that, and how he's gonna try to make it different from some of the other stuff. Like the show Arrow has kind of one of the best soundtracks, I think, of a lot of different TV shows. And so I'm wondering if he's going, what type of approach, because the spinoff, like Arrows and the Black Canaries, is a direct Arrow spinoff. And so I'm wondering if he's going to use kind of some of the same style, because it's basically meant to replace Arrow in terms of theme. Arrow was the only show really from that line of shows that kind of had that dark and gritty type of theme to it. And so the music was just naturally different in that. And so I kind of want to see how he's going to approach that with the new spinoff going forward.
See what kind of spin he's gonna do. Y'all looking forward to any collabs? Or?
Yeah, well, aside from the two I said, there's one more artist that I'm really anticipating something from.
Go ahead.
Musicality.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was about to interrupt you.
I know he's
out,
dropping his singles. I'm happy for his singles. Musicality, shout out to you. I am waiting on another album so I can just have it playing, because like most of my like alarms ever since I found it have been him, my ringtones, everything. I get in the car and usually I'll put on a Musicality song as I drive off, because I just love hearing my favorite openings, endings, or just songs from anime be remixed in that style, and the way he does it.
He's cold, bro.
He is.
He's amazing.
Speaking of cold things, though, if we're gonna talk about a new J. Cole album, what should we not even expect but be prepared for?
That was a good thing.
Because with Cole, with KOD, we've seen him at his most vulnerable. We've seen
that was
everything.
more of.
You thinking For Your Eyes Only?
Yeah, I think For Your Eyes Only.
Because of his homeboy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because KOD came out and said that Kill Edward was like another persona.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like what he was talking about with KOD.
But then what about like tracks like Kevin's Heart? And
no, I don't think like it's like he has some. I think that's like how, because of where the songs and the meaning of KOD like entirely was about the mind, drugs, how we see different things, money, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think Kill Edward was like a way of him expressing that.
Everything
as
that he
himself.
felt. Yeah.
One thing I think we can expect is How to Pimp a Butterfly vibe from J. Cole. That'd be big.
That'd
be big.
So you think I'm more socially conscious, more conscious than he normally is?
More aggressive.
Yeah.
Especially with what's going on.
There's a lot of stuff.
There's gonna be another
topic.
J. Cole. J. Cole and his
just
album.
J. Cole?
Just J. Cole, but
Okay.
you can go with Kendrick or anybody.
I kind of blended those two together just
Okay.
because. I'm not sure if you heard How to Pimp a Butterfly, the album.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of just like old throwback shots that Kendrick was sending out into the public, basically, where he was just talking about like
institutionalized.
being institutionalized. What us as Black Americans
people see.
went through in the past. You know what I'm saying? It was just like there were some people that thought it was too radical. I thought it was amazing.
Still won a Grammy off of it.
He did win a Grammy off of it, even just like with all the social tension that arose from it. So I can see J. Cole doing something like that.
So
especially with Trump being such a fool.
Yeah.
And we're in 2020, bro, about to have another election.
Yeah.
That's
I
gonna
can see him
be a
dropping
more. It's the time for a more aggressive stance.
Yeah.
And this will be the platform for it. So hopefully we see that, man. That'd be fun because he always does have a stance and he always puts a lot into the community.
Yeah.
So if anybody would be the one to talk about it, I would probably want to see J. Cole talk about it. So.
Well, I want to say this real quick.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if y'all have ever listened to. I mean, I'm sure y'all heard it because a lot of her songs play at work. But there's this young female artist. I think she might be mixed or she might be like Black and Hispanic or something like that. Her name is yes.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, Alessia Cara. Like, man, I've been listening to more and more of her music, and I just feel like she's one of the few female artists that's like really pushing that like soulful kind of like presenting myself as I am type of music, you know. And I don't think there's really a big issue with like playing a character like Nicki Minaj and some of these other artists have come out and said, man, what y'all see as far as what I get on stage and do and what I like put into my music, you know, that is my character that I have for my brand. But that's not necessarily me.
Well, yeah.
And so, you know, and I get that, and I understand that, and sometimes you have to make that separation. But I feel like Alessia Cara is one of those people what you see is what you get. She's putting herself in the forefront, and that's what a lot of music was with women. Like, just kind of putting themselves out there, laying their emotions on the line, and creating good music that other women can, for the most part, vibe to, you know. And so I think that role is kind of void right now in the female music industry. Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of women that are kind of trying to step into that role, and I think she's definitely one of them. Like, for me, like that song "Scars" to You're Beautiful. If you listen to just the straight up lyrics of that, man, that song really hits. Like, it basically just goes over and it talks about like these women that try to create this image for the public to see them as, and all the different things that they go through stress-wise and kind of breaking themselves down to basically be acceptable to others. So she's one of those artists that I'm gonna keep my eye on because I think it's really important to have more artists like her, as opposed to, like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all entertainment, but you can tell when an artist is putting stuff out solely for the entertainment value and say, man, I'm putting this out because this is what's real, and you don't like it or not, buy my album or not. Mm-hmm. Like, I do music because I love it. I don't do music for you, you know. So that's definitely one that I'm looking out for.
Good choice, bro. Good choice.
It's a really good choice. Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, since we're talking about music that drives us, then you can probably move on to our next topic. Would be what is music to who you are? What has music done for you? How has it influenced your life? What are those things, those defining moments? And we don't have to go in any specific order, but
a lot just rushed my head, so I started.
I'm trying to think of what. I mean, some of the first music I probably ever listened to was probably something Disney.
Yeah.
Disney, Sesame Street, something like that. But whenever it comes down to me finding the genre that I liked, I'm thinking Bone Thugs on a black cassette tape that my mom had in her car.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking Tupac and Biggie, bro. Like, didn't even know the lyrics to these songs, but they just always stuck around. And here I am now, bro, and I still love hearing these songs and these artists. Some of them passed away. So I kind of just developed my own thing. Growing up with my Hispanic family, with my grandma and grandpa, my grandpa listened to a lot of norteño, which is like a lot of the accordion.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. And he always
I love it.
And he always used to tell me like, you shouldn't listen to that riff raff. That's what he used to call it, riff raff.
Yeah.
Like, man, this is what I like though. And I kind of like, I didn't shun what he listened to, but we just had opposing taste, yeah, definitely. But when he would pick me up from school in middle school, bro, I would see him bobbing his head to whatever I was playing in the car. And so, like, music is just this universal connection between all things, bro.
I want to go next. I think I'll kind of be able to vibe a little bit off of what I'm saying. I think the most beautiful thing about music is, like, yeah, we connect songs, but songs have a really good way of connecting us to memories that we've had.
Yes, sir.
And people that we've associated ourselves with.
Yeah.
Like, I think as far as an entertainment medium, music does that more than any other medium.
Yes.
Like, as much as I love film and television, whenever I think about that stuff, I think of what I watch, and I think of how good it was and how much I liked watching it. But when I think of, like, Lauryn Hill, or when I think of India.Arie, when I think of that type of music, I'm thinking about me kicking it with my mom, you know, when my sister had already moved out and it was just me and my mom, and we were really all that each other had in those moments, you know. And so we would listen to these songs. We would put these songs up like midday on a Saturday and sing these songs together and jump around the house and clean up and do all these different things. It's like all these different relationships that you build. Like, music reminds you of good times. It reminds you of bad times. It reminds you of just different stages that you've gone through in your life. And I think that's really one of the strengths that it has, and that's one of the reasons why it's always going to be relevant. Yeah. Like, it's always going to be relevant.
I agree with that. I really agree with that because music really does like trigger memories. That's actually like how I remember things when it comes to art, when it comes to playing certain games, when it comes to seeing certain things. I used to be a dancer, so I was like listening to each different genre to kind of find a way to dance to it in a way, and just hearing music anytime I would hear a song or a melody or beat, and I would just think of something. Like, that's why I always say when we hop on Call of Duty, I gotta play Wiz, because when I hear Wiz Khalifa for certain albums, I think of Call of Duty. That's all that pops in my head. If I'm daydreaming, like I used to have an album at school that I would listen to on repeat every day, because there would be certain, like when I would be done with something, or even if I'm at home, if I'm daydreaming, I would listen to these songs in a certain order to remember an entire daydream that's like 45 minutes long in my head, just going off of the songs themselves. And that is amazing that I could probably be a few years later, go back and listen to that song, and that daydream pops right back up in my head. And I love music because of that.
Bro, it's like a time machine. Like, especially when you're in the car, bro, and just that song randomly comes on, bro. It just takes you back to that exact moment. You're like, man, there's really just a profound connection that music can really attach itself to like create everlasting memories.
Yeah, definitely, and it can string you as well. Like you listen to one song, and the internet has kind of played a part in this as well. But for the most part, even before the internet, you play one song, you remember the moments that arose from that. But there's also other songs that attach to those moments too. So now you've spent an hour listening to 20 different songs from 2006 because just that's how much you vibe with those different things, and they all have this just kind of web of inspiration and a web of a vibe that you can just kind of really get into. But I also feel like music, more than anything, like I feel like it has a literal connection to our body, like in the way our system wants to move and do shit. You know what I mean? And so like, and I think for me it's like the drums. When you have a good drum solo or a good drum beat, like to me it's like your body vibes with that because your whole body is listening to the beat of your heart all day. You know what I mean? So now all of a sudden it sees or it feels these other vibrations is like, man, this is like me.
Because like,
you connect with them.
That has like a lot to do with like the tutting. Like me and you both tut, so you know, like with tutting, if you're, let's say you're going somewhere and you're hearing a brand new song and you start dancing to it, you have to literally try to like feel the music in order to know what to even do next. Because if you don't, you're just like, what am I doing? Well, I'm not going on the beat. But to know and to feel like I have a feeling that the beat's gonna do this, or some beats do like do that. You got like, you literally have to feel the music. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything else that we have.
Else like that, man.
Like sometimes when we say food, maybe food is up there.
Maybe move in ways I didn't know how.
Yeah, you got bigger from it.
Shut up.
But
Roast count one.
At all.
But
you're a fool. You're a fool.
That's unfortunate.
Oh man, I'm sorry, bro. You gotta be like one a podcast. Somebody has to do it.
It's okay. I heard music helps hair grow.
So okay, I got something for y'all. When you think of
maybe we should cut here. Yeah. How long have we been going?
Let me look real quick.
Oh, we still going? We got a minute and 15 seconds left.
Alright, well let's just run it out. Wait. What does that? What do you mean? What does that mean?
We have a minute and 14
battery?
left.
No, recording time.
Oh, okay. So what should we do?
Close out, or did you have something to add on real quick?
I'm trying to remember the analogy I had.
We should close out. You got 52 seconds. Unless you got
I was just gonna say, like,
get it.
What if? Just think about it this way. The physical effects of music on our body. You know, those drums, that cadence, the melodies and all that, bro. It's a rhythm, right? And I think that kind of syncs up with our heart because it's a because sound is a vibration, and what our heart does, it pumps, blood, oxygen all throughout our body at a pulse, a steady rate, steady frequency and vibration. So I think that's a connection between us and music.
Definitely.
Let's do a proper end to the segment. we did everything.
Yeah. The only thing we could have talked about was like sleeper artists,
Favorite anime.
anime opening, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
We could talk about our favorite album or favorite song really quickly if you want to do that. If not,
Well, does anybody feel like they want to talk about a certain thing?
I kind of. Well, I mean, all I was gonna say was just like.
I kind of feel like you had some stuff to say that you kind of had to just rush off, and I want you to be able to say that stuff.
yeah, get your pieces out.
And
I mean, it would be me talking about Kid Cudi. That's my favorite artist of all time.
Ooh, we talking about the comeback?
I'm talking about that, but really, Man on the Moon 1 and 2.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, we're not gonna do music. So I mean, here's the thing: we're not gonna do music for probably another month.
Yeah.
So I mean, we might as well get everything that we want to say out music-wise right now.
Pretty much.
I mean-
and not really leave anything under the table.
Oh,
I
we're
mean,
recording right now.
Oh, we're already recording.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
No, yeah, we're recording. Can't you just cut it?
Yeah, I can't cut that.
Oh,
But
oh, we live, baby.
Cause yeah, I mean, it'll probably be a while before we do another one, so we might as well just get everything.
Yeah.
I mean, cause we went. I mean, it was just 30 minutes.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was
It's
solid.
literally half.
That
of what
really
we
was solid.
typically do.
So like on this part, let's not try to drag it out though.
Yeah,
Like, just
yeah.
whatever is important to you,
Yeah.
just get
Say
it
it,
out.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, then I guess we're gonna talk about our favorite album.
Wait.
We're back, baby.
Kombonation. Things daily. Anyways, so yeah, we're back. We're gonna be talking about a couple things. Our favorite albums and songs that we currently listen to. That can be from any time period. I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'd probably say my favorite album of all time is probably Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. Or it's gotta be Sun's Tirade by Isaiah Rashad. That album got me through some things. So it's either that or a Mac Miller album, but you know, R.I.P. Mac.
rest in peace.
Yeah, that was pretty much it for me.
Alright. Are we just doing favorite album in general?
Yeah, we can do favorite album,
Favorite
or
album,
song.
My
favorite artist,
My album
whatever.
that holds right now, my favorite album of all time, it just kind of holds it.
Yeah.
It's not permanent. Is Under Pressure.
By Logic?
Yeah.
Boy, Driving Miss Daisy?
Under Pressure, Buried Alive, Driving Miss Daisy.
Till the End
Till
is
the
my
End,
favorite
all of
song
those.
from the
So
album.
right now, that's one album that if I just really can't figure out anything, this is why I'm tired of listening to anything else, I just go listen to Under Pressure.
See,
honestly.
that's the thing. With Logic, you don't get the growth. Let's be honest.
That's
wouldn't
why
have
I'm just
Suicide.
like, it's that. It's mainly just that album. Like, that album holds a special place for me.
I feel that.
So-
It's a good album. X marks the spot.
For me, it'd be Kid Cudi,
Yeah.
Man on the Moon 1 and 2. I just put those two right next to each other. I really just felt like at that age, at that point in time in my life, I don't know, people just, they matched me up with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would always listen to him, I would always talk about him and shit. So people just like, when they hear Kid Cudi, they would text me in class or whatever, hey man, I'm thinking about you, like, listening to Kid Cudi right now. So, I don't know, he went through a whole lot of shit throughout his life.
Definitely.
Like, a lot of shit. He went through some depression, he was on drugs heavy too, it was looking real bad for him, you know? And somehow he still made really, really good music that helped
A lot of people.
normal, everyday people just get through their lives, especially me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like his music pulled me out of a dark place and showed me the light, even though some of the shit that he was talking about or what he was going through wasn't the same. And I don't know how a person can do that. That's pretty amazing. And now you look at him, he's clean, he's way better, he's seeing his kids and shit. It's a blessing, man. It's really good to see him doing well.
The power to change people's hearts.
My favorite album, I'd say it was the first album that I ever like. I just go down the track list and say, man, I like every single song, and it's not Kingdom Hearts, it's Confessions.
Ooh!
Like, I was a big Usher fan back in the
I
day.
was too.
I was kicking water off the concrete in the rain. I was doing everything like him, man.
Oh, man.
Like, and the beauty of it, man, how you, like, Usher has 4 different versions of Confessions, and they're all fire.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
he has the Confessions remix, he has Confessions Part 1, Confessions Part 2, and then some other Confessions.
I mean,
like,
if R. Kelly can do it, he can do
like,
it too.
Man, I'm telling you, dude, like, I don't know, I've just always just kind of vibe with just the way he did music. Him as just a person always seemed like man, I could kick it, I could chill with this dude, and I feel like he'd be genuine.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you see people, and you understand what I see, you know, is what I get. This isn't an act. This isn't somebody trying to throw something together to make money. Like, I feel like the way he acts on screen, the same way I feel about, I don't know if y'all watch Undisputed, but Shannon Sharp. I feel like that is Shannon Sharp. And if you meet him in person, he's gonna act the same exact way that he does on TV. Like, there's not a lot of people like that. And I feel like Usher is one of them. And so for me, like, he really kind of ushered in a lot of these.
Stupid.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I do feel like, as far as, and it's sad because that era of Usher being like one of the top guys was really the end of real R&B. You know, especially really on the male side. Like now, like R&B has more so become a hip hop hybrid. Right, and I don't necessarily think anything is wrong with that, but like I feel like those genres were separate and competitive for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that competitive nature of it is just no longer there. Right? There's not a lot of artists that are strictly dedicated to like the R&B side. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what Usher was. And so with that, man, that's just kind of an album that will always hold a place in my heart. Like, it was one of the times where like, oh, I know every lyric to every song. Haha, this is my shit. And so I always think about that. And no matter what type of music comes out, no matter what type of artist comes out, it's like one of those things where it's like nothing could ever take the place of this. So
so I just thought of probably my favorite artist of all time, and I really had to think about it because I was thinking about it from the first podcast whenever we kind of had that little small segment for it. But my favorite artist of all time is probably the only artist that anytime I hear his songs, I want to dance regardless to what mood I'm in.
R. Kelly.
And that is the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Jay.
I can listen to any Michael Jackson song any time of the day. I will be in my car and I'm moving my feet. I could be at work, put it on the home pod, and I just want to dance. Michael Jackson songs really go back to whenever I was a kid, just watching his videos, trying to moonwalk in my socks in the living room, and trying all that stuff, trying to perfect the kick. Like, Michael Jackson.
Get up on your toes.
Yeah.
Yes, like all of that.
Used to get up on his toes.
Try to lean all the way out.
He was sensei when I first started dancing. Was me trying to dance like Michael Jackson, and his music, if I ever hear somebody playing Michael Jackson, I'm never gonna tell them to turn it off.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna tell them to change the song.
Shimon.
I'm gonna listen. I don't care what song it is. I'm gonna listen to a Michael Jackson song. So Michael Jackson is my favorite artist of all time.
I like that kind of leads me to a couple questions because he also had comedy in his music videos.
Yeah.
So then Michael Jackson, he had Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker in there.
That girl is
You
mine.
rock my world. Yeah, that was the one. And he had Eddie Murphy in one of his dance music videos. And so now you kind of have music nowadays that you got comedy in music with like Little Dicky. Kevin Hart had an album at one point, but
Chocolate Drop.
But it's interesting to see that the turns that music has taken. And almost anybody can make an album nowadays. See me out there, Lil Toe Tech. It's gonna drop soon.
Little Total Tech.
Lil Toe Tech. Idiot.